21 months of back pay, gone. Not because the veteran lost his claim, but because he won it the wrong way. The VA agreed he was disabled, paid him going forward, and quietly erased almost 2 years of money he had every right to collect. Here's the part nobody warns you about. Every dollar of VA back pay hangs on one date, and there are 4 ordinary-looking moves that can shove that date forward and burn years of it without you ever noticing.
Nora here, and I think in deadlines, so this one keeps me up at night. The date in question is your effective date. That single date decides how far back your money goes.
Today we go deeper than how back pay works. We already covered the mechanism, the lump sum, how far back it can reach. This one is the companion piece. The mistakes that quietly forfeit it.
Hi all, I'm Nova, and here's the pattern that connects every trap today. Money in this system flows backward from a single anchor point. Move the anchor, and the whole river of back pay moves with it.
I'm Fenrir, and I'm going to push on the comfortable assumption first. Most veterans believe winning the claim is the finish line. It isn't. You can win and still be robbed by the calendar.
So let's name the rule out loud. The regulation is 38 CFR 3.400, and it sets your effective date as the later of 2 dates. The day the VA received your claim, or the day your entitlement actually arose.
And that phrase, whichever is later, is doing a lot of damage. You could be sick for a decade, but if you file late, the date snaps forward to your filing day. The years you suffered before that just do not count.
File it right though, and that same date can reach back months or even years. That is the whole game today. Protecting the earliest date the law will let you have. Before I lay out the traps, Nova has been sitting on the question every single person watching is quietly asking. Nova, put it to me.
Yes, and it's the one under every back pay video. If the VA already owes me the money, how on earth can I lose years of it just by how I file?
Because the VA does not pay for time, it pays from a date. And 4 times in this process, you get to set or protect that date. Miss any one of them, and the money in between simply evaporates. Let's walk each trap.
Mistake number 1 costs the most veterans the most money, and it is the easiest one to avoid. Filing your claim cold, with no intent to file on record first.
Think of the intent to file like calling ahead to hold a dinner reservation. You are not eating yet, but the table is yours, and the clock that matters starts the moment you call, not the moment you sit down.
Exactly. The intent to file is VA Form 210966. You submit it, and it sets a placeholder date and gives you 1 full year to assemble and file the complete claim.
And this is the magic. If you eventually win, your effective date relates back to the date you filed that intent to file, not the later date you finally submitted the full application.
So let me poke the obvious hole. If it is free, takes minutes, and protects your date, who on earth skips it? And the answer is, almost everyone, because nobody told them it existed.
Picture Maria, an Army veteran still chasing down a Nexus letter and her medical records. She submits the intent to file in February, then files the complete claim in December inside the year. Her effective date is February.
Her neighbor skipped the form and filed cold in December. Same evidence, same condition, same approval. But his date is December. Maria just protected 10 extra months of back pay for a form that took her 5 minutes.
Let me show you the actual form because people think this is some buried bureaucratic monster. It is not. Let me walk you to the exact spot that does the work. This is VA Form 210966. Right at the top, the title states its whole purpose, an intent to file a claim for compensation, pension, or DIC. That title line is the placeholder date you are reserving.
And the very first section is Veteran Identification Information. You fill in who you are, and that one act tells the VA which clock to start. From that day, you have a year to finish the full 21/5/26 EZ, and your date is protected the whole time.
So the trap is not complexity. The trap is silence. Nobody hands you this form, so file it the very day you decide to claim, before you have a single piece of evidence ready.
Quick honest ask while we are here. If this has been worth your time so far, hit like, then subscribe and ring the bell. I know everyone asks, but this one is free, and it is how a small channel like this actually grows.
Your effective date can reach all the way back to your first day as a civilian. Most people never even hear about this window, and it is hiding in plain sight in 38 CFR 3.400B2.
This is my favorite clock in the entire system. File a disability compensation claim within 1 year of your discharge, and your effective date can be set to the day after you separated. For anyone within a year of taking off the uniform, this rule is worth more than almost anything else we will say today.
And the elegant part is that the VA's own processing speed cannot hurt you here. The clock is about when you file, not when they decide.
So even if the VA takes 14 months to issue a rating, your date still anchors to the day after separation, as long as you got the claim in inside that first year. Let me draw the two timelines side by side because the gap is the whole lesson.
Take Daniel, who separates on June 15th. He files his claim in March, well inside the window. The VA decides in November, but his effective date is June 16th, the day after he got out. His back pay covers about 17 months.
Now run it the other way because this is where it stings. Daniel waits just past the year and files in month 13, same injury, same service. But now his effective date is the filing date. Over a year of compensation gone for a few weeks of delay.
So the takeaway writes itself. The day after discharge is the most valuable effective date most veterans will ever be eligible for, and it is the easiest one to let expire while you are busy resettling into civilian life.
And if you are newly out but not ready, you already know the safety net. File that intent to file. It holds the date for a year while you get your evidence together. Two protections stacking on the same window.
So stacking is the move. File early if you can, and if you can't, the intent to file guards the same day after discharge anchor while you get ready.
Exactly. And Nova, you have had a hand up since the timeline went on the board. Go ahead, because I think you are about to ask the question half the people watching are mouthing at their screens.
I do, because the timing edge cases are where this gets slippery. If I file an intent to file in month 11 after discharge, does that still capture the day after separation date, or did I already blow it?
Great question, and the answer is yes. The intent to file is itself a claim received inside the 1 year window, so it captures that day after separation anchor, then buys you a year to complete the full application. You are still protected. This is the big one. The mistake that erased those 21 months I opened with. After any VA decision, you have 1 year to keep the claim alive, and what you do in that year decides whether your original date survives. Let's actually argue it out because the wrong instinct here is incredibly common. Here is the fork. You get denied or you get a lowball rating and you have fresh evidence in hand. Do you start a clean new claim or do you formally appeal the old one? Fenrir, you have heard the case for just starting over, so make it.
And honestly, starting fresh feels right to a lot of people. The old claim feels tainted, it lost. A new claim feels like a clean slate, a fresh look, no baggage. Just refile with the better evidence and let it stand on its own.
And that clean slate instinct is exactly how veterans torch years of back pay. The moment you abandon the old claim and file new, you break what the rules call continuous pursuit. Your effective date resets to the brand new claim date.
Nora, slow down and give them the regulation because this is the load-bearing rule of the whole episode.
It is 38 CFR 3.2500. Under the modern appeals system, if you keep an issue alive by filing one of 3 review options within a year of each decision, your effective date stays pinned to your very first claim. Appeal in time and the original date is preserved.
Fine, push back on me then. What are the 3 lanes, and why would I appeal instead of taking my clean slate?
3 lanes, each on the AMA forms. A supplemental claim, Form 200995, when you have new and relevant evidence. A higher-level review, Form 200996, when a senior reviewer should re-look with no new evidence. Or a board appeal, Form 10182.
And before you answer Fenrir's why, let me make the cost concrete, because the abstraction hides the damage. Walk us through a real reset.
Picture James, he files a back injury claim in January and is denied in August. He gets a new scan, real evidence in hand. But instead of a supplemental claim, he files a brand new claim the next year, and the VA grants it, dated to the new claim.
So he won, he got service connected. Where is the harm?
The harm is the date. Because he blew past the one-year appeal window, continuous pursuit broke. He lost roughly 21 months of back pay he would have kept by filing one supplemental claim on time. Same evidence, same win, 21 months poorer.
Okay, I concede it fully. The clean slate is a trap. Refiling fresh is the single most expensive instinct in this entire system.
And here is the part most people miss. Continuous pursuit is a chain, not a single deadline. Each link is one appeal filed within a year of the prior decision. You can even switch lanes between links, as long as every step is timely.
So here is the verdict, and the sources settle it cleanly. When you have a real fork between refiling and appealing, appeal almost every time. The one honest exception is a stale, long final claim with brand new evidence and no appeal window left, where a fresh supplemental claim may be your only door. But on a live claim inside its year, refiling fresh is the costly mistake and a timely appeal is the move. Per 38 CFR 3.2500, the appeal preserves your original date. The refile resets it. Choose the date.
The VA frequently assigns the wrong effective date, and it is shockingly common. It defaults to your claim receive date even when an earlier one was legally owed. The day after discharge, your intent to file date, or a date your condition provably worsened.
These are the two traps veterans discover too late. Mistake 4 is letting that wrong date stand. Mistake 5 is not knowing the one door that stays open after every other one has closed.
And here is the timing trap on the wrong date. You have to appeal it inside the same one-year window. Sit on it, and the decision goes final, and your only remaining option becomes a very narrow one.
That narrow door is mistake 5 if you ignore it. It is called a clear and unmistakable error, or Q, under 38 CFR 3.105A. A Q lets the VA revise a final decision at any time, even decades later.
But I want to stress test the word anytime because it sounds like a magic undo button, and it absolutely is not. The bar is brutal. A Q means an undebatable error of fact or law that, if fixed, would have plainly changed the outcome. It is not I disagree, and it is not new evidence would have helped.
And yet when it lands, it is the most powerful retroactive tool in the system because of one phrase in the regulation. The correction takes effect as if it had been made on the date of the original decision. Let me show you what that does to the money.
Picture a veteran denied a knee condition back in 2009 when the rating decision flat out overlooked an in-service treatment record that was sitting right there in the file. Years later, a Q motion succeeds. Watch where the money lands.
Because the correction dates back to the 2009 decision, the award is retroactive to 2009. Let me run the math, because the number is staggering.
So roughly 16 years of back pay paid in a single check because one record was ignored in one decision.
Add modest cost of living growth over those years, and the lump sum lands somewhere around $340,000 from correcting one undebatable error.
Here is my honest verdict on Q though, so nobody walks away with the wrong plan. Q is a last resort, not a strategy. It is the door you use when the appeal window has slammed shut. The cleaner, faster, far more reliable path is to never let the date go final wrong in the first place.
And there's one more quiet exception worth knowing. Under 38 CFR 3.156C, if official service records that existed but were missing from your file turn up later, the VA reconsiders and your date can reach back to the original claim. A reason to keep chasing missing records rather than starting over.
Let me pull all of this into one plan you can actually follow because the rules are scary but the moves are simple. 5 steps in order, and every one of them protects your effective date.
And notice the shape of it. Every single step is about one thing, getting your anchor date as early as the law allows and then refusing to let it slip. Same principle, 5 moments.
Let me check them off as we go. Step 1. The cheapest insurance in the system. File an intent to file the moment you decide to claim, before you have any evidence ready.
Step 2. If you are newly out, file inside that first year of discharge so your date reaches the day after you separated. That is the most valuable date you will ever be eligible for.
Step 3 is the one I will repeat until I am hoarse. If you are denied or handed a wrong effective date, appeal within 1 year. Never ever just refile a fresh claim. The appeal preserves your date, while the refile resets it.
Step 4. Keep the chain unbroken. Each appeal within a year of the decision before it. You can switch lanes, but you can never let a year lapse, or continuous pursuit snaps and the date is gone.
And step 5, the last resort. If you are staring at an old final denial that was plainly, undebatably wrong, look at a Q motion. It is a long shot, but it is the only door left, and when it opens, it pays back everything.
Here is my one piece of straight advice. None of this is the VA being cruel. The system pays from a date, and it will not volunteer the earliest one for you. So the job is simple: set the date early, then guard it like the money it literally is.
And if you only remember one sentence from all of this, make it this one. When in doubt, appeal. Do not refile. That single instinct protects more back pay than everything else combined.
Here is the whole episode in one line. VA back pay lives or dies on your effective date, and 4 ordinary mistakes can shove that date forward and burn years of money you are owed.
So do the one free thing tonight. If you have even thought about a claim, file an intent to file. It costs nothing, takes 5 minutes, and it may be the most valuable form you ever submit.
And next time we are going to flip the lens entirely to the back pay number itself. How the VA actually calculates that lump sum, dependence, retroactive cost of living, and the one offset that can quietly shrink the check before it ever reaches you.
If this protected even 1 month of your back pay, do me a favor and hit like and subscribe, because we are building this VA benefits library one trap at a time, and I want you here for the next one.
I will let the recap speak for itself on this one.
Big thanks for sticking with me all the way to the end. Professor Erica here. See you very soon.